Hello viewers, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot and I'm going to read today on Donald Trump. So, well, of course we read most days on Donald Trump. I'm going to be reading today on Donald Trump pre-midterms. I'm going to be looking at his November. Okay, so we're going to there'll be serious parts of this reading, but hopefully there'll be fun parts as well, because the energy that I'm getting from Trump and other readers are getting is that he is quite worried. Now, without getting too carried away, I did see some statistics today which said early voter turnout is 44% for the Republicans, 38% for the Democrats, up a couple of percentage points from 2016. So it would appear the Republicans are coming out to vote. The question is, what is driving them? Are they changing their vote or are they supporting Donald Trump? Some more in-depth reporting reveals that there are some that will be changing their vote, particularly those that might have voted for Republican at the state level and then Democrat at the federal level. So, it's hard to really assess statistics, and I think we've got to be careful of polls as well. But I guess the message here is we shouldn't let our emotions rule our head. We really do have to bear in mind that the US is fairly polarised between Republicans and Democrats. And just as much as it's polarised for Democrats, it'll be polarised for Republicans. However, getting on to the readings. Now, I'm just going to do my usual process, which is I'll open myself up to Universal Source and we'll ask the question, what is Trump's mood and emotional and mental state, okay? Emotional, mental and psychological state in the lead up to the midterms in November. So we're only talking about a week, okay? And we're coming up really toward the end of October now. So the first week in November, what is Trump's mental, emotional and psychological mood or outlook in the lead up to the midterms? I'm getting the Saudis here. For some reason, I'm getting some fairly strong interactions with the Saudis. Because as soon as I opened myself up, I got the image with Trump talking to the Saudis. I don't know why that image is coming. Is it, I think, probably constant liaison over the Khashoggi murder and how that might play out in the media and the cover-up. Or it could be that something else is going to come out in relation to the Saudis. So just watch that in the lead up to the midterms. What else? What do we need to know about his mood? Is he fearful? Is he confident? I think his energy is quite low. He's speaking very softly, which is indicative of stress, and it's also indicative of fatigue. Yeah, and I'm getting those around him are very much babying him at the moment. They're putting things in front of him and, pampering him, cajoling him, buoying him up, managing him. And they're doing that because mentally he's not as strong as he sort of was. He's not as brash and he's not as strong, and his voice isn't projecting as much as it has done in the past. I think, quite frankly, this is I guess that old saying, when you when you start to when you pick the sword up, be prepared to use it, because he has sown these seeds of malcontent, I guess I'd call it, and he's got to live with those consequences. But anyway, back onto the reading, because that's quite a long introduction. A little bit of psychic clairvoyance mediumship work there. Let's move into the tarot part of the reading. So we want to know, something has just, it was actually the Hermit card has just popped out. That could mean that he is feeling fairly isolated at this point in time, even though he has lots of people around him. So what is Trump's mental, psychological and emotional mood or outlook in the lead up to the midterms in the first week of November? Trump, how's he thinking? What's he thinking? How's he feeling in the lead up to the midterms? Okay, let's have a look. All right, so in the past we have the Ten of Cups. Things were once, once more, he had more surety in his life. He was building his wealth, supposed wealth. It was very much a family concern. This is the card, the Ten of Cups, building assets for the future. That's what was in the past for Donald Trump. What's in the present is the Hierophant. Now, this is about judgment, okay? So he could be feeling that the midterms will be a judgment of him. That could be making him quite fearful, because it's almost, he keeps saying, and I guess in psychological terms it's called mirroring, he keeps saying that if the midterms go badly for the Republicans, it's not a judgment on him, it's a judgment on the Republican Party. So what he's doing there is he's expressing his fears, and his fears are that he will be judged. And look, the Five of Swords in the future, okay, this is really, I guess, what is troubling Donald Trump, and this is loss and can in some cases mean imprisonment. So viewers, I would say in the lead up to the midterms in that first week of November, he's feeling quite under the hammer, really. He fears judgment, and he fears the future in terms of imprisonment. And going back and mirroring the past when everything was rosy is the Queen of Cups. I mean, Donald Trump rode to power on the coattails of emotion and people's emotions. And back then, he gained support. It's also indicating that he's stimulating similar emotions, only they are not the emotions of the past. Okay, he's really worried about loss. Okay, so this is mirroring the present card, the Hierophant. This is the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is, about, he's fearing an abandonment, and he's wondering if he will be forced to move on. He's also thinking about withdrawing. Okay, this could be that he's thinking about withdrawal. So, if things go a certain way, will he step down? Is he considering giving the presidency up if it's not in his favour? And look, mirroring the loss and possible imprisonment, this is what he's worried about, is the Moon. He's worried about secrets coming out. He's extremely worried about secrets being unearthed, because this is the Scorpion or the crab rising to the surface, and we have, this veiled aspect of the Moon card. And look, it also is about emotions, because we've got we have the water here, and wherever we have water, it's indicative of emotions. So he is worried. He's emotionally, anxious that secrets will be revealed. depending on what the result of the midterms is. And in the past, there were choices to be made. If we look at the building of assets and the emotions that he generated in the past, he very much forced people into this situation here where this is the Two of Swords, where there were I guess people were having to make a compromise. And if we think back to the election of 2016, there may have been independent voters that may have voted differently, who may have held preconceived ideas about Hillary Clinton. It could also, that for many reasons, people voted for Trump who may not have voted before. Well, that situation is gone now. We've had a good look at Donald Trump. People are more informed. So those voters who were forced into those, I guess, considering, the choices in front of them, that could mean that he's worried about that situation not being there now. He's standing on his record. So he is really worried about judgment. And look, this is the Page of Cups mirroring this loss, being worried about loss and being judged card. The Page of Cups is like coming forward with a proposal. Now, I thought when I pulled this card that he may have been considering withdrawing in some way, perhaps possibly stepping down. Is this what's going through his mind? Are they talking about plan B, plan C? Is this what's worrying him, that there will be proposals brought to bear which may not be favourable to him, that may influence his decisions in the future, perhaps not to run in 2020? These are the things that are going through his mind. Okay, and again, the threat in the future for him, he's worried about this rising woman vote. He's worried about what happened with Kavanaugh. He's turning all those things over in his mind. And again, the Empress mirroring, cards like the Moon card, cards like, loss and potentially imprisonment. The Empress is not, this always represents, this is the card that tells me he's worried about Democrats gaining a foothold. He's worried about Democrats taking the House. He's worried about the rising women vote. But the Empress is also the unconscious and the intuitive. So he's very much worried about people who are concerned and worried about the way that he's running the country, their deepest fears about Donald Trump. He's concerned about all of that arising and perhaps influencing the midterm vote. So from this reading, pre-midterms in the first week of November and possibly between now, Donald Trump is extremely worried, and he's considering all options. He's considering potentially what his options might be if Democrats take power. And he is very worried about secrets coming out. It was all right in the past, he had this building of assets and, but now he's standing on his track record and he's worrying about how he will be judged. So, all right, let's look at Donald Trump after the midterms. And see what we can see. I'll stick with the Arcanum deck. I was thinking about using my Aquarian deck, but I'll just stick with this, but I'll give it a good shuffle. They're a little bit hard to shuffle on this material that I've got here, but we'll give it a good shot. Okay, that's a reasonable shuffle. I might just try it again, and then I'll tune into his energies. I know this is a bit of a long reading, viewers, but I think it's worth it because we're not. No, that didn't really work very well. We're not that. Start again. We're not that far out from the midterms, and I think it's worth doing a longer video because I know it's there on everybody's minds. I'd like to read on that caravan and the troops going to the border. I might do that tomorrow. There's also a couple of state races and Senate races I'd also like to look at. So there's plenty to look at in the lead up, as well as further further readings on, you know, what might happen when the bombers are discovered, or if there's any further developments, because we've got yesterday's reading there as well to have a look at. So let's just clear the decks. Donald Trump after the midterms. Okay, so straight away I get the Ace of Swords, the picture of the Ace of Swords, which is the card that lets me know that the truth has come out. In some way, the truth has come out. Mental clarity as well. It's almost as if, you know, there's a new era of mental clarity post midterms. But how is Donald Trump? There's some disappointment for him. There's also this worry that things will now be on the table, because I've got this image before in relation to Donald Trump and the FBI as well, that history, how will history judge me? And that is what I'm getting. I'm getting that old school reel-to-reel film that projects in black and white onto a screen, and that tells me that there is this new perspective. There's more mental clarity, but there's also a historical perspective as well. There's an opportunity to look back, and that tells me that he post midterms he is worried about what will be unearthed. So what else is happening after the midterms? Yeah, look, I do see, you know, I do see these troops. I don't know if it's in relation to the caravan. I'm not sure. I'm not thinking it's martial law, viewers. I'm not going that far. But to be fair, I do see it's, you know, it's police or you know, so there will be some post midterms. There will be some extra policing, if you like. There might be some marches and some protests. Now, I'm getting that will be more the alt-right that are doing that. So again, I saw those battles. But look, it's not anarchy. People aren't taking over the country. I'm just seeing extra law enforcement, possible protest marches. Post midterms. I need to update on also voter machines as well, but I'll get to that in the next few days. Post midterms. Let's have a look. How is Donald Trump feeling post midterms? Okay, everyone's voted. The results are in. Nancy Pelosi's looking quite happy. Let's have a look. How is Donald Trump mentally, emotionally, psychologically? What's his mood post midterms? Okay. Okay. All right, so post midterms, Donald Trump. All right, let's see. Okay, so we've got the Page of Swords. Again, this is the truth that coming out. It's also, it is telling the truth. Okay, so post midterms, there's more opportunity for the truth to be told around Donald Trump. I don't think he'll be telling the truth. That's not in his modus operandi. But you know, this is also the card of prying eyes. So post midterms, he's extremely worried about prying eyes. Again, unearthing these secrets. Here is the card of the Nine of Cups, which is I guess, it is material gain, and it is health. Now we'll leave that sit there, because I don't know if that's the health of the nation, or if that could be in relation to Donald Trump. Whether he is happy after post midterms, I'm not sure. I will need to deepen that and see what's going on. We'll just let that sit there. It could also be a little bit of illusion as well. So it could be that he's making much of a reasonable result for the Republicans in certain areas, and he's blowing that out of proportion, because we have the central figure in this card looking, I guess, a little bit like she's labouring under a little bit of an illusion. The future, the Tower card. Okay, so he is really, post-election, is not in a good place. This is the card of chaos, destruction, downfall, you name it. The Tower is probably one of the most negative cards in the pack, and this is in the future position, post midterms. Okay, so he's feeling like his world is being turned upside down. Okay, the Four of Swords. Okay, so this is retreat. Again, this is having to retreat and withdraw. This is very much the person after battle who's weary. And this is mirroring the Page of Swords, which is the truth-telling card. The truth will come out. Who's retreating? Donald Trump. I need to look further into this card, because the Nine of Cups is material abundance, really, good fortune and good health. Is that for the nation, or is that for Donald Trump? I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Moving on and transition. In order for Donald Trump to maintain his health and his wealth, he is considering moving on post midterms. Okay. It could also be that for the nation's good health, there needs to be this transition and moving on. But I'm tending to think that see, this is the Nine of Cups in my other deck, often denotes Trump. It's sort of, a little bit like the card of the rich merchant. But this card is the Six of Swords, and this is about a necessary transition after battle, really. So the reading that I had before, which suggested he might be considering moving on in some way, or retreating or withdrawing or stepping down before 2020, looks like it's kind of borne out by these cards, because this chaos card is there for Donald Trump. Remember, we're looking at how he's feeling. So this is how he's feeling. Okay. He kind of knows that post midterms, he kind of knows that the game is up, right? We have the chaos, the downfall, the spectacular fall, and we have justice coming for him. That's how he's feeling post midterms, which is indicative of a potential result in the midterms. Okay, if the Democrats take the House. Oh gosh, okay, the Three of Swords, okay, mirroring the truth coming out and prying eyes to get to the truth. The withdrawal and the retreat. Okay, the Three of Swords, heartbreak, loss. This is how he's feeling post midterms. Okay, and these are all swords, right? These are all swords, how he's feeling. And this is his mental state here. He's feeling like he's lost, and he's considering this retreat. And balance, it's almost like, okay, and this is why I love to mirror the cards, because they really deepen the reading. So, really for Donald Trump and for the nation, we've got this, needing to move toward a healthier state of affairs. It's a necessary transition and moving on, and it's going to be bringing balance. So, I don't know whether it's those around him It's almost like, you know, pouring water on his fire. And this is the angel of justice as well. You know, the third eye chakra, the all-seeing, you know, for good health to be returned. It's almost like Donald Trump has got to be extinguished and moved on. Okay, so this is how how he's feeling after the midterms. You know, I think, you know, he's considering for his own wealth and health and material abundance that he should step down, because this is what he's feeling. He's feeling his own downfall, and he's feeling that justice is coming to him. Oh gosh. Okay, completion and integration. Okay, this is the world, and again, this is the eyes of the world on him. So he's feeling the downfall, justice, and it's really, this is the end of a cycle for Donald Trump. Okay, so he's feeling, we kind of know what's coming up for us. You know, we kind of know at an intuitive level what's happening. This could be why he's in such a mood now, pre midterms. But this is completion and endings of a cycle and moving forward. So he's kind of sensing that there will be justice coming. There will be these secrets that will be revealed. He's scared of his own downfall. It's the night of the long knives for Donald Trump, and he's also, I think, sensing this end of a cycle for him. This thing that he tried to accomplish, this presidency where he hoped to gain so much financially, and you know, and implementing agendas that benefited the elite, the wealthy, the overseas interests that he may or may not have done deals with or colluded with, conspired again with, you know, all of these things. That era is, he's feeling like that era is over after the midterms. Okay, so this reading is suggesting that while the Republicans may get some gains in some areas, Donald Trump is feeling like there's going to be loss there as well. And really in the future position, we've got all these cards that's suggesting that if the Democrats take control of the House, they will, the Mueller will come forward with the indictments post midterms. The Republicans won't be able to block that. There will maybe further investigations into Donald Trump, and including how he's conducted himself through the presidency. He's very much frightened of that. He's worried. And look, these cards are suggesting that that could well be a future scenario for Donald Trump. Of course, you know, the future isn't static. It can change. Things can change, you know. Events can change. People can change. The future's not set in stone. But certainly as at this stage, today, for this reading, Donald Trump is a worried man post-midterms. You know, it's all his nightmares coming home to roost, if you like. The Tower card, as I said, you don't get much stronger than that. And the Justice card mirroring the Tower and the world. The ending and completion of cycles. This whole Trump era has been lessons for us all. You know, and let's hope that moving on after that, we can begin a more positive cycle. It may take time for events to play out for Donald Trump to leave, because these are in the future, post-midterms. But, you know, I think as we move forward to 2020, all of this is going to play out. So that's Donald Trump's November, pre-midterms, post-midterms. I hope you enjoyed the reading, viewers. Thank you again for all your comments and support of the channel. I'll see you again for another reading, and we'll look at the caravan and the troops, potential for violence there at the border We'll take another look at the bombing, the bomb threats and the bombers. We'll stay on the midterms. We've got a lot to look at between now and the midterms. So on that note, thank you for tuning in, and I will talk soon. Thank you.